Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello, and welcome to Intentional Productivity Tips. I am Megan, and I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner. And an interesting thing has happened this week. I actually planned this episode a couple of weeks ago when I was planning out June. I thought, hey, summer go bag refresh. It is time for us to look at our summer go bags, and it's time for us to look at disaster preparation as we change the seasons. I'd planned that at the beginning of June, and then this week happened. And I am in Northern California, where we are under red flag fire warnings. We have triple-digit heats coming, and PG&E may or may not turn off our power at any time. So the reality of productivity and refreshing your summer bags on the go has come home this week. I want to welcome you to Intentional Productivity Tips. As I said, my name is Megan. I'm your very favorite strategic productivity partner. You are watching me on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel. Remember to like, subscribe, and be notified when new episodes drop. Today, we are here to talk about your summer go bag refresh. Easy for you to say, so let's say that again. Today, we are here to talk about your summer go bag refresh. We are talking about small prep that saves stress later. When we think about it, if we can take steps now to save stress later, isn't that worth it? Today, we are here to talk about productivity in disaster prep. As I mentioned, this week, reality has struck me in a big way when it comes to preparedness and peace of mind. Earlier this week, as I mentioned, I'm in Northern California, so I'm in Kelseyville in the Cobb Mountain area. And we found out this week that, hey, we are going to be under red flag warnings. One of the things my mind does then is starts to kick into preparedness mode. One of the best things for me about disaster preparedness planning that has helped my productivity is I am not starting fresh every time that we start. One of the things that is reality is that preparedness equals a peace of mind. If we're here to talk about intentional productivity tips, aren't we here to talk about how you can be productive and prepared in case disaster or something strikes? So that's why we're here to talk today specifically about disaster preparedness. It's different for all of us. Disaster preparedness, when you think about it, what can happen matters where you live and where you are. Right now, I'm on the side of a mountain in a very rural area that has very real wildfire threats. So my experience and what I'm looking for now is very different in my past. One of the things I've learned over my life is how to deal best with unexpected situations. I'm always brought back to Santa Barbara. During the Jesucita fires, I was evacuated from my home, and I very wisely at this point, this was probably 2007, 2008, I very wisely was prepared, found a friend on the opposite side of town, was heading to stay with her and her family, and she's like, okay, bring what you need. I was like, what do I need for a disaster? Very wisely, I packed all of my photo albums. This was, again, in the mid-2000s before everything was electronic. I had a bunch of photo albums and pictures at the time, so I packed up my car with that and headed to her house. When I got there, I was a little bit surprised because I realized I didn't have things like, oh, maybe a robe. I'm with the family. I didn't have a brush, or I didn't have anything that I actually needed. So over the next couple of days, as I was evacuated, it was a matter of figuring out what I needed. At that point, I learned a lesson that I have been able to pass through until today, which is again realizing that if we are prepared, if we're productive, and if we are thinking proactively about preparedness in the time when we need, it truly is going to provide a peace of mind. So that's why what we want to look at is, how can you be prepared? What are the different elements of preparedness that you need for a productivity tip and potential situations that might arise? One thing that is very important, one thing that you may have heard about is, if you are needing to prepare for disaster, you will need to prepare go bags. So today we're here to talk a little bit about your go bags, because there are multiple kinds of go bags that you need depending on the disaster, again, where you live. And a disaster, when you think about it, excuse me, not a disaster, a go bag really is a time capsule of what you need right now. When you think about it, it is June. That's why we're talking about changing your go bag. We are no longer in winter season. We are now in summer season. So this is where we want to start to ask ourselves with our go bags, what is it that we may need to quickly access if we need to go? Again, when the last time I picked my go bag was in the winter, at that time I was looking for things like gloves, and I had scarves, and I had layers and blankets and warm clothes. But now, as we're heading into triple digits, I do not need a scarf, or I do not need gloves. So we need to start to ask ourselves with their time capsule, what do you need with your go bag right now? What is the right season? So I've changed from sweatshirts and layers to shorts and tank tops and t-shirts and things like that. It's important for us to realize, what do you need right now? And so that's why we're able to walk through, what does your now time capsule need? What do you need for your time capsule now for your go bag? Last year, there were things you might need, but there's things that you need this year. So what is it that you need? For example, last week I had specific work projects that I had some backup information for. I'm not working there anymore. I don't need to have that. So I was able to remove that from my go bag, right? When you think about it, what you want to be able to identify, the thought of a go bag is, what can you grab and go if you need to leave? What are the things you must know about? Medication. Do you have different medication now? Have things changed? Do you currently know what medication you would need to either grab or replace if you lost it and weren't able to access your home? Another thing that's important is, we want to think about, what is it that you need now? What information do you need to update in maybe your phone, in your notes, any contact information, any places to go? When you think about the go bag, your go bag is a reflection of, if I have to leave now, what is it that I can take with me so that I can leave quickly? Question for you, when you're looking at your go bag that you either existing or new, when you're gathering and you're putting items in your go bag, one of the big important questions is, does this still represent the life that you're living today? Does this go bag that you have, does it show not only what you needed last season, but again, we are in June 2026. So what are the things that you need in your go bag, or might you need to be able to access if there was a disaster and you had to leave quickly? These aren't things we like to think about. Today's episode isn't the most fun and uplifting, I get that, but it's real and it's honest. And my promise to you is always to be real and honest, especially with your productivity. One element of go bags that are often overlooked, and it is a productivity tool, is specifically your car go bag. Now, I'm going to say car go, and I'm going to try and have a little bit of a space so it doesn't sound like a cargo bag. But one thing that is important in disasters, no matter where you live, is thinking, do you have a few things in your car in case you're not at home, or you can't get at home, or you got to get out fast, right? So when we think about the idea of a go bag is insurance. You hope you'll never need it, but when you do, you'll really be glad it's there. For example, I recently had several friends who were impacted in Southern California in Garden Grove. There was a toxic gas leak and people had to immediately leave their homes. And so there were people that I knew at that point that did not have a cargo bag, or they didn't have things prepared. And so they were away from their homes and they were completely with nothing. So that's one of the reasons we want to think about a cargo bag. A cargo bag isn't just for a disaster. We have road trip season. Maybe there's something that, maybe we're stopped on a road trip. Again, where I live in Northern California, a road could be closed, right? Last summer, I had the situation where I went to Santa Rosa to go to Trader Joe's. And while I was there, a fire started between Santa Rosa and where I live. And so it's things like that that we want to think about. A benefit of a cargo bag is if you are traveling with your automobile, I'm going to call it an auto go bag. Anyways, if you have your go bag and you've got it in your vehicle, in your car, you've got a few things so that you are not left completely empty. As I mentioned, when I was recently, some friends in Garden Grove found themselves without things and were very surprised. As I mentioned, as I knew that this episode was coming up, and I know that it's June, I was getting ready to transition my cargo bag. But this week happened. We are on red flag alert. We are in a heat wave. And so I actually did spend all day yesterday, or I spent time yesterday updating my cargo bag. One of the things that we want to think about with your cargo bag, or if a disaster is aware, are things being prepared. Do I need to update anything? Do I have everything charged? I spent yesterday, because of what was coming, as you can see, all my gadgets were being charged. All my devices are being charged, right? When you think about what you will need in your cargo bag during the summer, you want to think about things like maybe a blanket or maybe a wrap of some sort, right? You want to have a first aid kit. You want to have clothes for the day. You might want to have a blanket, a beach blanket, right? I also have some water and a few snacks. I have chargers. You want to think in your cargo bag of, if you're driving and you are stopped, what are the things you absolutely, absolutely need to have with you? That's the goal for the cargo bag. My challenge to you, ask yourself, do you have an existing cargo bag? If you do, is it up to date and ready for the season you're in? Take time and create it or update it if you have one. If you do not have a cargo bag, it's time to start to think about one. And I will be honest with you. Yesterday, I was updating my cargo bag right here, and I realized it's time to upgrade to a duffel bag. So I'm going to be getting on my to-do list this week is getting a new zippered duffel bag cargo bag. It is something that, again, is going to be important. It is going to be something that is useful. Disaster preparedness. A lot of times people ask me, Megan, why are you talking about it when it comes to productivity? Because if we're not prepared, we quickly move from being productive to unproductive. So that's why we want to think about the things. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you've seen my previous episodes. I've done a few episodes before on go, no go bag, disaster preparedness. The links are in the show notes below. Check them out because, again, useful information for you. My goal today is not just to help you think about your go bags, but also to help you think about, what are some of the things that might not seem natural, some of the things that might be surprising. So let's go through 5 weirdly useful things you'll appreciate later when it comes to setting up and refreshing your summer go bag when it comes to disaster prep. So we're going to look at 5 weirdly useful things. The first thing, you saw it just a minute ago, the charger goblin. The first thing, when it comes to being prepared for disaster preparation, that was not make sense. When it comes to disaster preparation and being ready and being productive, one of the things you want to think about is your charger goblin. So much of our lives anymore are rechargeables. Rechargeable fan, rechargeable mirror, rechargeable watch, rechargeable Game Boy. So much of what we have in our life is rechargeable. In disaster, if we might lose electricity, like there's a chance here over the next couple of days in Northern California, I want to be prepared to have and be able to charge as much as I need to, right? So one thing I recommend when it comes to the charger goblin is to go through and identify what are all of the things that you have that you would want to be able to operate that have not been charged that need to be charged, because you want to start planning on that and making sure even your power chargers, make sure that those are charged as much as possible as well. So 5 weirdly useful things. First, the charger goblin. Identify all your chargers that you need. Identify that you have all of the right cables and connects and things like that. One hidden thing about charger cables and about the charger goblin, make sure if you have multiple devices that need a lightning bolt charger, you might need 2, right? You want to start thinking about what is it that I need to charge everything. Do not get caught up by the charger goblin and not have what you need or not be charged if you are in a place where you're going to be without electricity. The second thing we want to do is we want to think about entertainment and insurance. Entertainment insurance. This became very clear to me in February of 2024 when we had a huge storm up here and there was no electricity for over a week. The storm started on a Sunday morning. The electricity went out at 8 in the morning. So by the time I got to 10 p.m. that night and the wind was howling, the storm wasn't close to being closed, I realized, oh my gosh, my laptop's almost dead. Oh my gosh, what can I watch if I don't have Wi-Fi? I realized in that moment that I didn't really download that much. I hadn't downloaded anything. So I had 2 options. I could watch just like Us or whatever the Sex and the City remix was, which was terrible. Or I could rewatch Begin Again, the movie, over and over and over again, which is what I ended up doing, right? So I learned at that, and I also didn't have anything hard content. So one of the things you want to identify when you're thinking about disaster preparedness is what are the movies, TV shows, podcasts, books, what are the music, what are the things that you have downloadable that you don't need to depend on Wi-Fi or electricity to listen to? Because you can get bored very, very quickly. As I mentioned, that February storm, not only did I not have good things downloaded, I didn't have anything that wasn't requiring a charger. So after that, I went and bought some coloring books and coloring crayons. So that is the second weirdly useful thing you'll appreciate later when it comes to disaster preparedness and a go bag. The third is medication memory backup. One of the things that's important is we need to remember if we're not at home and we want to be, if something is blocking that, whatever it might be, we're increasing the stress in our life. And so as we know, increased stress, it's harder to remember things and we can get more frustrated. So having a medication memory backup is a really, really powerful tool. Something that you could put on your phone, again, something that's downloadable. You could have a note, you could have it someplace where it's just identifying, or you could even have pictures of it. That's just identifying these are the medications I'm taking right now. If I need to replace anything, if I need to take anything, so you know what to take with you. Because there's nothing more frustrating than not being at home and not being able to have your heartburn medication, right? Or knowing that, oh my goodness, my thyroid prescription, or oh, my high blood pressure, cholesterol, right? We know that there are times that we need to be sure we're continuing with things like medication. We want to be prepared for it. One way to prepare for it is to have a medication memory backup. Because if we rely on the memory backup and not our actual brains, we're saving our brains to be able to deal with the situation that we're in, which is one of the goals. So that's why number 3 of the 5 weirdly useful things you'll appreciate later is a medication memory backup. Number 4, and this is going to be a valuable one. This is one you will thank me for later, I promise. A password panic test. So depending on whatever your password situation is, if you have like a 1Pass or however you keep your passwords, one of the things that's important if you are potentially in an emergency is, oh my gosh, what do I need to log into, right? One of the reasons I love having a 1Pass is you remember that password and you can get into everything. But I might forget the 1Pass. So how do I remember it? Where do you have a backup for any of your masters that you may need to get a hold of? Maybe it's not a matter of 1Pass or anything like that. Maybe it's what is my Hulu or my Netflix, right? Think about the passwords that you might need to be able to access. One password that's very important, if you have home Wi-Fi, If you have home cable, if you have home any of those, where you're able to have an app that you can, so for example, like Verizon or whatever any of them are anymore, have the app, be able to access that, because you'll be able to access some of your TV shows or things like that. But these again are important passwords that we might not think about, but when you're stuck and you're not able to access them, it's going to reduce your stress. The fifth and potentially most important and weirdly useful thing that you will appreciate later is the underwear principle. This is the idea of, what if you're someplace and you have to end up staying overnight and you don't have some of your basic undergarments or underwear? We know we can wash things, but it can be a little bit more stressful. It can add to the frustration. Again, going back to the situation in Garden Grove last month, where there was the people had to leave their homes because of the disaster there, the potential leakage there. I had a friend who called me and she was like, "I don't have underwear. I'm sitting in the Walmart parking lot right now." So for her having to deal with that situation and go to Walmart and figure all these things out, when she wasn't prepared with them in that moment, it was very frustrating. And that was the most frustrating part of the weekend for her. So one of the weirdly useful things that you'll appreciate later by having a cargo bag is by having undergarments or underwear, whether it's a pair or two of underwear, whether it's some underclothing, whether it's a simple pair of leggings, whether it's a tank top. What is it that, again, the goal of a cargo bag is you can't get home. What might you need to access? What's going to make your life a little bit easier? And how can you make this stressful situation a little bit less stressful? So we have spent some time looking at what you might say are 5 weirdly useful things, but I do guarantee you'll appreciate later. Again, think of the charger goblin. What are all of the things you need charged, and start charging them. Entertainment insurance. Don't be caught with something boring or not having anything to be able to entertain yourself with. Medication memory backup. Remember, don't have to trust your memory. Have a place for you and your family where you clearly know the medications you might need to take. A password panic test. What is the ultimate password you need to be able to get to? Don't trust your memory. Have it written down. Have it someplace where you'll be able to get it. And also don't write it down with my backup secret password. We all know about that, right? And fifth and most important, the underwear principle. Be sure that you have underwear or undergarments that you can access, especially in your cargo bag, in case you can't go home. And that way you'll be a little bit more comfortable and can spend your time, effort, and energy focusing on other things that are more important. Our goal with our summer go bag refresh show has been to think about, what is it that you have? What is your current situation? What do you need, and how can you make it happen? So now let's look at your summer refresh audit. What is it that you want to do? Open your bag, right? Actually take a look inside. Decide what stays, what goes, what gets updated. Do batteries need to be charged? Are there things that are outdated? Look at things. Even if you have, there are some things that do have expiration dates that you might not be thinking of. So check everything for expiration dates, right? And then what gets updated? We're moving into the summer. So now I need sunblock, right? I need sunscreen. I need lotion. I need things like that. So update anything like that. It's important that you look at what you need for your situation. Is it things that you need to get rid of, like old chargers? Is it things that you need to replace? Or are things that it's like, hey, it's not winter, I don't need it. It's summer. I'm going to put flip-flops in my car. I'm not going to have winter boots, right? We want to be honest with our summer refresh audit. Again, you want to look at, what is your situation? What is your potential need to go? What is your potential need for not being able to get home? And what are your surroundings? One of the things, again, that I have learned over the last 3 years living in a very rural area in Lake County is that preparation for me is very different now than it was before I lived here. So that's why it is important to have a refresh for your current season in life, for the current season and weather, and just for the current time. Productivity and disaster prep. Something to remember. The goal isn't fear. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is reducing future-based stress, because productivity isn't always adding something new. Sometimes it's reviewing something you've already built. You want to stay ready, we want to stay flexible, and our goal is to stay intentional, which is why we've spent so much time talking today about what does your potential summer refresh of a go bag, or even a car go bag, what does that look like for you? As we're ending today's episode, as you know, my goal for you every week is that you have actually one takeaway. You have one thing you can take away and say, you know what? That's something I'm going to do. For example, I realized earlier I need to switch my summer cargo bag. I'm going to buy a duffel bag. So that's on my to-do list. But we want to start thinking about how are you going to take what we've been talking about and turn it into action. One of the things that I've got for you to think about the process is a go mode dial, right? So what we want to think about is if we have to leave in 5 minutes, if we have to leave in 15 minutes, or if we have to leave in 30 to 45 minutes, right? What does our preparation look like? What is it we need to load? And what is it that we need to take with us, right? So it's important for us to think about our go bag and summer disaster preparedness go mode dial. You want to be able to ask yourself, if I'm told that I have 5 minutes to leave, what is it that I need to be prepared for? If I know I have 15 minutes, and if I know I have 30 to 45, right? We know the exit, so we need to identify what it is that we're going to take, and then we can prepare and we can go. Your goal this week, my action plan, my request for you this week is open your go bag, open your cargo bag, review them, refresh them, and then reset and be done. It's so important that you take some time to be intentional now, because it really will make a difference later. And you know, the best thing and my very favorite thing, when I took my stuff out of my winter go bag, because I didn't need it, when I got my winter cargo bag because I hadn't needed to open it all winter, I was like, hey, old socks, old friend of mine. It's kind of fun to see what you can find. Turn this experience into something that's positive and something that works for your life based on where you are now. For me, very different when I lived in Santa Barbara and San Diego than now that I live in Kelseyville near Cop Mountain. So you need to ask yourself, what is it that you need to do to be prepared? How is it that you can be aware and ready no matter what happens? I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner. I want to thank you for joining me today. I know we normally talk about productivity, and again, this is productivity. So I want to expand our definition and what we think of as productivity, because if we take these intentional steps now, it truly will make a difference later. And that's one of our goals. Thank you for joining me today. I will be back next Thursday. I have something really excited I'm not going to tell you about, but join next Thursday. It's going to be fun. I want to suggest that you seriously spend a few minutes and think about your go bag, your go dial, what that looks like for you, because it's going to make a difference. And also want to say, join me again next Thursday. Let's connect. In the meantime, if you want to reach out to me, you can always email me at hey@productivitymegan.com. Or you can follow me, like, subscribe, and follow me on Intentional Productivity Tips at Instagram. Thank you again for joining me today. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner. And as I can tell you, because of life experience today, having a cargo bag, having a go bag process, and a summer refresh is very important. So I hope you've benefited from it as well. We'll see you next week. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradiosshop.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
People are searching for experts every day. Are they finding you, or are they finding someone else? Every day, professionals are building authority through media. We've already built the platform. USA Global TV and Radio. Over 14,000 shows streamed to over 60 countries. This isn't about becoming famous. It's about leverage, visibility, credibility, opportunity. One interview, one conversation, one show, repurposed into content, connection, and business growth. Most people assume hosting a TV show requires a studio, a production team, and a massive budget. Our television packages begin at $1,500 US per month. Professional production, global distribution, replay visibility, built for voices with something to say. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, and if this resonates with you, we should talk. USA Global TV and Radio, all rights reserved. Contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.